So right off the gun, it was chaos. The water was super rough, and 75 guys going full gas off the beach didn't help with that. They ended up altering the swim to 2 loops of 375 meters instead of the full course of 750, and I had a really hard time settling into a rhythm. And you can see here by the mostly empty bike rack, I did not have a fantastic swim. At this point I was already about 2.5 minutes down from the leaders. I came up the beach with a small group of maybe 4 or 5 guys, and pushed really hard through transition to stay with them. But as you see when I come out here on the bike, there's nothing really resembling a pack. So coming around the corner here, I finally pick up a guy up ahead of me that's moving pretty well, and decided to push really hard to try to catch up to him and see if we could get things moving. It took me really most of the way out on lap 1 to catch up with him, and here you see I finally get on his wheel. So here I actually make a little bit of a mistake. My feet are still on top of my shoes at this point, and I take this as a chance to try to put my feet in my shoes and get dropped, and then end up having to put in a bunch of work again to catch back up. I catch back up to him right around the U-turn at the end of the course here, and we start trying to work together to catch up to a pack up the road. Here's another mistake I made. I was way too cautious this first time through the little tight chicane section going through transition, and lost his wheel again, and ended up having to sprint pretty hard to get back up. This is one of those sections that if I stayed on his wheel the whole time, I could have saved a lot of energy. So as we come around the U-turn here on lap 2, a small group from behind us actually catches up, and we all start working together. I hit the section through transition this time a little bit better, but came through at the back of the group and still opened up a little bit of a gap. So the guy on the front of the group at this point is actually a teammate of mine, Trevor Foley. He runs track for University of Florida and has a 14:10 5K PR. He's pushing super hard on the bike here, and the rest of the group seems pretty content to just sit in. So heading out on the last lap here, the pace starts to slow just a little bit, and we start to move around the outside of the group here, and I launch a little bit of an attack. It's not enough to get any real separation, but it ends up being just enough to kickstart the pace of the group a little bit. So my legs are pretty trashed at this point, and Trevor puts in a little surge here in response, and I just can't go with him. I end up basically just letting the rest of the group here reel him back in for me. And you can see the big main pack headed back on the other way. We're almost a full half lap behind them. So I make a little tactical error here. I come into T2 at the very back of the group. There's actually a little crash at the dismount line, and I very easily could have gotten tangled up in that as well. So I guess I just had a little bit of a adrenaline spike or something from almost running him over coming into T2, and didn't have a great transition. Ended up struggling a little bit to get one of my shoes on, but ended up running pretty well, so can't complain. I ended up going 19:17, which is only 10 seconds off a standalone 5K PR from back in December. So I ended up 50th overall in the day, which was definitely not what I was hoping for, but my swim is just not there yet, so I'm hoping the results improve as my swim fitness continues to come along.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.